Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. I hope you will all have a nice day. And it is a Friday. It is Friday, 6th of March, 11 a.m. Moscow time. And as always, I have prepared quite a number of news on some major developments. And hopefully, you will find this episode informative and useful. And in that case, click that like button if you can. Leave some commentary. Those likes and comments, I guess, help to reach wider audience. And well, Also, dear friends, if you find my work throughout the week useful, informative, interesting, maybe entertaining at some points, you can also indicate that by supporting through different platforms. You can subscribe to my Patreon or Boosty pages, and that might be very useful if you want to have access to my updates from next week. Because, as you know, marathon basically failed, and from Monday, I'm no longer gonna have full updates on YouTube and Rumble, only on Patreon and Boosty. Just saying, in case you actually like my updates, these long videos. And so, yes, links to my Patreon and Boosty are under this video in description box and in the pinned comment. You can also support through PayPal, of course. You can find the link there. And in case you were donating a year ago or 2 years ago through PayPal, please make sure that you are using new link, because earlier Magda was helping me with her PayPal account, and relatively recently, about a year ago, maybe, I switched to my wife's PayPal. She created a PayPal. She didn't have it. She created a PayPal, and I'm using her PayPal account now. So just in case, because all the link would not work, only this new one. And so, yes, that's been said, dear friends. Unfortunately, marathon failed as it was expected, and yes, from Monday, my full updates gonna be on Patreon and Boosty, and all the content, all the video content that I will have. And yes, I mean, then we will see how things go from there, right? Okay, it's a Friday, by the way, and I'm a bit tired. All of us are tired, I guess. It was a tough week for sure. Yeah, let's. And I see a comment here. Are you saying goodbye to YouTube now? Well, my full update's not gonna be on YouTube. Maybe on Saturdays and Sundays. It depends, of course, when I will have a day offs. When I will find some proper job, right? It might be 2 days work, 2 days rest, 2 days work, 2 days rest, and in that case, it's not gonna be always Saturdays and Sundays when I will have off, right? If I gonna find Monday to Friday regular work, like 8 hours a day, in that case, I might have a Saturday, Sunday offs. But I want to have at least like community chat. I want to maintain community chat on YouTube and Rumble, and maybe I will publish some short clips, 1 or 2 short clips from main update from Patreon and Boosty, so that YouTube channel will be active. YouTube and Rumble channels will be active, and there will be some updates there. But yes, full videos no longer, because, as I said, I cannot justify spending so much time on this project. Actually, I cannot afford it, actually, right? Let's be real here. I cannot afford it. I mean, if I didn't find the job, by the way, maybe not next month, but months after, we're going to be evicted from this flat. So you see how situation stands. And so, yes, I'm just have to find a job and deal with the situation. And that's why, because on Patreon there are 135 subscribers right now. Let me check. Yes, 135 subscribers on on the Patreon, 12 subscribers. There was a 13 few days ago, one joined, but one left. So it's still 12 on a Boosty, and there are 135 on a Patreon. And I will continue to make full updates for our Patreon and Boosty communities, because I guess supporters on Patreon and Boosty are people that actually value my work, right? Actually value my updates as a useful, right? And so hopefully, little by little, our community will grow. That's the hope, at least, right? We will see how things gonna develop, right? And so, okay, let's go through some news, dear friends. Let's go through some news. As I said, I might be a little chaotic. I had a later update yesterday. At 11 p.m. Moscow time, I launched a second live stream, and it turned out to be big live stream, by the way, like 2.5 hours, right? I went sleep 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, right, and wake up at 7 to start preparing this live stream, right? So it's a full-time job, I'm telling you, with the regular overtimes, right? And if you are not, if you are not able to pay the bills, right, while spending so much time on the project, then you have to do something about it, right? And that's where I am. Anyways, RIA Novosti is reporting, dear friends, that Iran has promised to intensify strikes on enemy positions. And let's start with this news. So Tehran will intensify attacks on enemy positions in the coming days. The central headquarters of the Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya military command announced. And probably you already think about what I have said there in my previous updates, isn't it? That even though Pentagon is claiming that there is a significant drop in the missile and drone launches from Iranian militaries in the last few days, and Pentagon and the Israeli side are saying that this is due to their strikes exclusively, I had a different take. I said that this decrease in missile and drone launches also probably are related to the possible fact that many units of this decentralized, as far as I can tell, armed forces or security forces of the Iran, many of those units actually accomplished first phase of their retaliatory operations, and therefore, they will need some time now to come up with their second phase, right? To prepare for second phase and launch it. At the same time, of course, it is very much possible that Saturn units also run out of missiles and drones. They had probably, I don't know, 100 missiles, 500 drones. They launch it all, and now it will take a couple of days before they will replenish the stockpiles. And of course, it will be time consuming because they have to do it in a way that they would not be detected by enemies' surveillance drones and so on. So they will take whatever time is necessary to replenish their stocks with their necessary cautiousness, and then they will launch again. And I said in my updates that maybe this process will take 2-3 days approximately, and I expect next week to see a significant increase. That was my prediction. I was expecting in several days to see significant increase of Iranian drone and missile strikes. And you know what? Yesterday, during that second live stream in the evening, while monitoring the news, I had to acknowledge that, maybe this second phase of retaliatory strikes from Iranian armed forces has already begun, and therefore this statement from Iranian military is that they're gonna intensify strikes definitely makes sense. And I'll tell you what I mean by this. Yesterday, your friends, there was more videos about Iranian strikes on U.S. military assets, on Israeli military assets than the day before. And for example, Ali Al Salam Air Base in Kuwait was practically obliterated with their Iranian strikes, and not just this military facility. There was a lot of drones and missiles were flying throughout the Middle East, launched by Iranian forces towards their enemy, right? And let me show you. When I said this air base of U.S. militaries were obliterated, I actually mean that because well, I will show you a video now, and you tell me what you think about it, right? Um, so just look, man. Look at this.
الربع هذه كأنه قائدة تو.
It's on fire. You see that? I mean, maybe not entire base, but huge areas are on fire right there. That's the U.S. military base that is burning. You're not gonna see this video on Fox News, right? Or on the BBC or CNN or stuff. That kind of garbage. No. On those propaganda outlets, you're only gonna see Israeli-U.S. Strikes on Iran, but not retaliatory strikes. So Iran already increased, as far as I can tell, its long-range strikes, and in coming days, we're gonna see more and more such operations. And look, this is not all, dear friends. Yesterday, Iran launched a relatively large-scale, I will argue, missile strike on Tel Aviv. And one of the targets, at least one of the targets, was Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, right? International airport. And you might ask her, well, why is the airport a military target? Well, I'll give you information on that. It is a legit military target for Iranians. But first, let me show you another video. And I'm telling you, you're going to be impressed. If you have not seen this video of Iranian strike, you're going to be impressed, man. This is because it is impressive, right? So look at this. You see how many warheads are descending? Now let's see it again. All these dots are warheads. According to reports, their target was exactly that Israeli Ben Gurion airport, right? And well, some members, as I said, might ask her, yes, but international airport, how it is a legit target, and it is a legit target. And when it comes to this particular strike, I can see what Vadim is commenting. It's a decoys. Well, some of them could be, but point is that Iran used its heavy ballistic missile, and according to reports, this heavy ballistic missile is carrying 70 to 80 warheads. It's a cluster warhead that it has. It's a 70 to 80 munitions inside this cluster. And that's what was used. And the Iranian side promised, isn't it? They said that on initial stages, they were using all the generation missiles. And now seems like they are beginning to deploy latest developments in the missile, in the rocketry that they have. And this particular missile, as far as I can tell, is Horam Shah 4 ballistic missile, which yet again carries a cluster payload, and it's a 70 to 80 sub-munitions inside. So some of these dots can be decoys, but a majority probably are actually, munitions with their explosives in it. And when it comes to this Ben Gurion airport, well, we have this report, for example. This is a satellite imagery from Chinese satellite, right? And on the 5th of March, by the way, there was at least 30 or around 30 US KS-135 and KS-46 aerial refueling tankers stationed there in Tel Aviv Ben Gurion airport. That's what you can see, right? You see these dots here? This is refueling tankers. And somewhere in hangars, there might be also fighter jets, fighter bombers too. And that's the reason why there was this significant strike on Tel Aviv's airport. But well, Israeli militaries and the U.S. militaries should relax a bit, right? Because help is coming. Help is coming to deal with the Iranian drones and missiles. And if you guessed that help is coming from Zelensky, that's correct. Zelensky, this greatest warrior of 21st, 22nd, and 23rd century throughout the Milky Way galaxy, is promising that, well, Ukrainian militaries will start assisting the US and I guess Israel too in protecting their bases in the region, in the Middle East, in the coming days. And the report is coming from Reuters. According to this news agency, the sources, the relevant order allegedly has already been given to key regimes militaries to go there in the Middle East and assist US and Israel and whomever, right? That's a quite, I don't know what you think about it, but this is quite embarrassing stuff, I think. It should be quite embarrassing stuff for the US, that they need their proxy to defend, to protect them. I mean, seriously, man, what the hell is going on, right? And also, dear friends, when it comes to Iranian strikes, I believe I have also another video. Let me just find it. So this is also US base that was targeted. I mean, let's massive explosions, right? There was explosions before because during the explosion, you see there was a smoke from other area, right? And so there is that also. And let me check if I have some more videos about these strikes. Okay, that's I guess. That's about it, I guess. Okay. So you get the picture, right? You get the pointer. Iran already has increased its military activity, its long-range attacks, and this process will only accelerate. And let me also remind you, dear friends, in case you did not watch my yesterday's second update, that Iran published a video of interception of another F-15 Strike Eagle fighter jet of the U.S. Air Force. And this is a fifth one, right? According to reports that I have seen on the internet, this should be fifth F-15 that was neutralized, right? One way or another. U.S. claims that the first three F-15s were shut down by friendly fire by Kuwaiti F-18 fighter jet. I find it difficult to believe that in a single day, as a result of friendly fire, 3 fighter jets were destroyed. But I mean, things happened. Maybe that is true. I don't know. I'm more inclined to believe that Iranian fighter jets intercepted those F-15s. But there was then reports on 4th of March, that was, if I remember correctly, about neutralization of another F-15 that crashed somewhere in the western Iran. And this is a fifth one that was also intercepted in western from western Iran, because their plane itself was intercepted maybe over their Iraqi airspace, because a pilot ejected, actually, pilots, and at least one of those pilots survived and landed somewhere around the Basra, Iraqi port city of Basra, and the local police was engaged in a search for this pilot, right, to basically take him to the safety, because you can imagine that the Shiite population of Basra would be extremely angry about, and are extremely angry about this unprovoked war that US and Israel are waging against majority Shiite Iran. And if that crowd get its hands on that US pilot or pilots, then you know what could happen. So police was in conducting search, and as of now, I did not see reports, at least in Russian media. Did they manage to find that pilot and take him to safety, or what happened? Right? U.S. is denying. U.S. is denying these claims that another F-15 was destroyed, and well, probably no one gonna dare to challenge Pentagon on the matter, right? Even though Iranian side released the video. Iranian side released the video of this interception, and I'll show you now this video. Unbelievable. Let me take a sec, by the way. For whatever reason, I was thinking that I have prepared the video of that interception, but looks like I did not. But just a sec, it would not take long before I find it. Unbelievable, man. I mean, things happen when you are working alone on all these videos and stuff and preparation and everything. You know, you might think that you have everything prepared there, and then you're gonna find out that actually you did not. You missed something. And yes, where is that freaking video, man? Maybe some of you, or maybe most of you, have seen the video of interception of that F-15, but I want to, nevertheless, and that's it. I find the video, by the way. So, okay. Now let me show you this video. Okay. That's it. You can see there is a tracking that is happening of the F-15, and then splash, and fighter jet is down. Yet again, according to reports, I can see some comments. Yeah, Top Gun, yeah. That's what happens, by the way. JP is commenting. It's a fourth F-15. I believe it's fifth. I believe this one is a fifth one that was intercepted. But I mean, maybe there are more, right? I'm a bit surprised. I'm going to tell you that we did not yet see reports about FA-18s being intercepted and destroyed, right? These are carrier-based fighter jets. That is surprising. And I also expect F-35s to be intercepted. Not necessarily F-22s that US is also using, but F-35s, either from US Air Force or from Israeli Air Force, very well might get smacked out there, or smoked, let's say, and I expect that to happen. But F-18s, absent of their videos of interception of their F-18s, definitely surprises me a little bit. What a workhorse those planes are, man. They are enduring a lot of hard work, payload, old planes, but nevertheless still capable, you see. But eventually, if Iranian side would not be able to intercept them, then well, technical issues will do the work, right? Because I guess both aircraft carriers that US has deployed for the attacks on Iran are exhausting their fighter jets, right? And soon, in the days, in near future, by the way, I think we will see US beginning to lose its F-18s, if not to fire from the Iranian side, then to technical issues that those planes will eventually begin experiencing. Because only so many hours those planes can work, right? Without proper general maintenance work being done. Anyways, that's also something that I wanted to share, that there is a minus, another F-15. I think it's a fifth one, but maybe it's a fourth one. Who knows? Definitely, at least 4 was intercepted. We have seen 4 confirmations, 4 videos about 4 confirmed kills of F-15s. And fifth one, there was a report that even Israeli media reported about it, right? That F-15 crashed in western Iran, although we have no videos yet. Anyways, let's continue with some other news. And yesterday there was a voting in Congress, in the House, by the way, about war powers against this war that Trump is waging. And as you can guess, U.S. Extremely corrupt U.S. so-called lawmakers voted against Trump's powers to be kept in check, right? And therefore, Trump will feel free to continue this war as long as the Western ruling class will want it, right? Or American ruling class will want it. These groups of special interests, and well, Republicans voted in favor, of course, most of Republicans, with the exception of Macy, I guess. And well, most of Democrats voted against it, although this does not mean that Democrats are not in favor of the war. If Democrats were in power, well, they will do the same, because they all are working for AIPAC, they all are working for Zionists, they all are working for, most of them, let me say this way, vast majority of them in our House and Senate are working for a military-industrial complex, Wall Street, you name it, right? Globalists, by the way. So it's a uniparty, and this clown show is being put up for the public, right? So the public will be misled, put in this bubble of the illusion that they have some sort of elections and democracy. And many in US actually believes in that crap, that they have elections. Really? How come that no matter who you elect, policy is still the same, right? How come then? Anyways, 219 MPs, so-called MPs there, lawmakers in US, voted against this War Powers Act, and 212 voted in favor. That was, of course, not enough to influence the situation. And the Johnson House Speaker again went to say that US is not in a war. So therefore, there is no need for a War Power Act or anything like that. And when they say this kind of crap, these American so-called elites, high-ranking officials, probably they believe that, well, their statements are gonna go down well among their electorate, right? And so you tell me, dear friends, how stupid, honestly, man, how stupid the people that voted for these garbage scumbags are, really, if they are actually believing in this kind of crap, that they are bombing Iran, killing civilians, over 1,000 civilians have been killed, destroying everything they can. They are losing militaries, right? And they're saying, you know, we are not at war. And you know what is also interesting? There is according to UN article, by the way, there is a 51st, according to UN chapter, there is a 51st article or something, right? About preemptive military operation when threat is imminent. And actually, Russian side addressed the UN before, in regards to special military operation, and make it clear for everybody, for the whole world, that Russia is launching special military operation, right, as a preemptive measure. And Western world never, since 2002 to nowadays, Western world, Western so-called elites, Western media, public figures, majority of them never acknowledged that Russia had legit reasons to launch preemptive operation. They're always ignoring 2014 coup d'etat. They are ignoring massacre of Russian speakers, repressions of the Russian speakers, repressions of the Russian Orthodox Christians, and Orthodox Christianity in general on the Kiev-controlled territory. They never acknowledge that, as if none of it happened, right? And the Russian leadership just wake up one day and said, you know what, let's launch a war here. And to nowadays, whenever they are talking about special military operation, they don't use this terminology. They say Russia's unprovoked full-scale invasion. Am I correct? That's what Western so-called media is saying. That's what Western so-called elites are saying. But when it comes to US, even though Russia had every legit reasons to launch this special military operation, let's make it clear. And since then, since 2022, we have tons of proof that Russia has every reason, right? From biolabs, military biolabs that US implemented throughout the Ukraine, to military bases that NATO was actually building on in Ukraine, right? And nothing to be said about all this military weaponry and money and everything that was and intelligence that was allocated for this Western-backed terrorist regime of Zelensky. So Russia had every reason, legit foundations, to go ahead with their special military operation. But when it comes to US aggression against Iran, there is none of it in place, right? It's a truly war of choice because Iran did not threaten US. They are not even neighbors, by the way. They're on two different continents, right? So in no circumstances, US can in any way, shape or form justify logically what they do. And they are coming up now with a freaking 47-year-old war talking points, right? That, well, Iran launched this war against the US 47 years ago. I mean, seriously, for God's sake. Why not count then from a day when US CIA overthrew Mossadegh's government in Iran and implemented their terrorist regime of Shah in place instead? What's up with that? But anyways, this moron Johnson, who is clearly, I mean, scum of humanity, by the way, yes, went to say this kind of nonsense. And I'm going to give you a video, by the way. I mean, you just listen to it, you make and share your opinion, what you think about it, man. So this is a Johnson right here.
Well, we just had an important series of votes on the House floor. As you know, the War Powers Resolution failed. That is the right result. We are not at war. We have no intention of being at war. The President and the Department of Defense have made this very clear. The Department of War has made it very clear. This is a limited operation. It's an operation that's limited in its scope and duration. It has a very clear mission, and that mission is nearly accomplished by all estimates. We are taking down Iran's ballistic missile capability, its stockpile, and its ability to produce more. They were doing that at a scale and a speed that was more than our regional allies could keep up with, and it was a serious and imminent threat to the United States. We don't need to relitigate all that today, but also we wanted to take down the capability of their Navy, and all of that has been very successful. So this needs to continue. It would have been a very dangerous gambit to take the Commander-in-Chief's ability away to complete this mission. It would have been a very serious misstep by Congress, and I'm grateful that resolution failed.
So that's it, man. And when they say this kind of crap, I mean, they actually believe that their electorate will take it happily, right? Otherwise, they will use different talking points. And I honestly have a question. What's up with the IQ of the people that believe in these scumbags? What is the IQ, average IQ of supporters of these creatures, right? Like 30, 20, 10, something like that? I don't know, man. I don't want to be too disrespectful to a significant portion of the US society. But now we all know about the level of education in America is like below anything, right? Below anything. Significant portion of US citizens, tens of millions of people I'm talking about, I mean, they don't freaking know. Honestly, I mean, just go in US and just do your own study, by the way, right? From 100 people, first 100 random people that you can talk to on the street, at least 60, 70 would not be able to tell you, I mean, some simple stuff. Let me give you from which country they talk territories, right? On the southern, in the south. If you ask just simple question, it's a basics, right? From which country they snap the territories in the south? I don't think they will be able to tell you their answer. I mean, maybe that's a too hard question. If you ask on which coast, actually, I mean, on which coast Washington is, they might not be able to tell. Or on the coast of which ocean. Or that might be even too hard, man. I mean, maybe those people don't even know that there are like several oceans. So that's my take, by the way, about IQ and education level and intellect of a significant portion of Americans. Sorry, but I'm going to be real here. Right? I'm going to be real here. And I guess objective Americans will agree with me, right? And they will say that, yes, majority is a freaking moron, man. Because it is true. And that's why they have this corrupt system in place. That's why they have these scumbags in a position of power. And people are just, majority is just freaking okay with that. Only explanation is that those freaking idiots don't even understand that something is not quite right. That's it. Anyways, dear friends, let's continue. Thanks God they are actual intellectuals and literate people, and that those people might actually build some decent future for the US sometime in the future. But as of now, man, I don't know. And well, even though Johnson is claiming that US is not at war, well, US militaries are quite very much involved in a mass killing of their people in Iran. And well, New York Times, by the way, conducted its own investigation, and they come up with their article suggesting that a school that was hit on the first day of the US-Israeli unprovoked US-Israeli war on Iran, unprovoked war of choice, on the very first day it was American militaries that targeted the school while killing 165 schoolgirls. It was, according to, this is New York Times investigation, by the way, that suggests that it was a US strike. Although to nowadays, US so-called MSM, so-called media, and Western so-called media in generally still denies guilt on part of this satanic coalition of US and Israel and others, and are trying to shift the blame on Iran. That's how despicable they are. That's how despicable they are, man. And well, Trump seems like is either so delusional or so hysterical that he said to Politico that people actually loving what is happening in Iran. He actually said that. I mean, Politico probably has his statement on tape, right? So Trump actually said that, well, people are loving it. Which people, man? Even in US, according to social studies, majority is against this war. Even among Republican voters, majority is against this war. And many people who voted for Trump voted exactly to stay out of the wars, right? Not to launch ones. And Trump Trump's administration is the first, according to also Western media. Trump's administration is the first one who actually managed to bomb 7 or 8 countries in a single year. Not even Bush administration did this. Trump, creature that get elected on the promises of no more wars, bombed 7 or 8 countries in a single freaking year. And now bombs Iran. And he thinks people are loving it, what is going on. And he also went to say that, well, he is not okay with the candidacy of the Ali Khamenei's son to lead Iran, to become a next supreme leader, is if Iranian people asked his opinion. But I mean, this creature is so delusional. This Epstein client is so delusional that he actually thinks his opinion matters. So US President Donald Trump stated that he considers the candidacy of the son of Iran's assassinated supreme leader Ali Khamenei to be unacceptable for the post of the leader of the Islamic Republic. On Wednesday, the Financial Times reported that the most likely candidate for Iran's leadership is Muqtada Khamenei, the son of the assassinated Ali Khamenei. Other candidates being considered including Ali Reza Arafi, member of the Interim Leadership Council, and Hassan Khomeini, the grandson of Iran's first supreme leader. Khamenei's son is unacceptable to me. We want a man who will bring harmony and peace to Iran, Trump told her Axios. Holy moly, man. Holy moly. This idiot, this moron, I mean, actual moron, right? With IQ of 0 even, just killed the religious leader of the Shiites. And he thinks he have a say, or Western world has a say on the matters of who gonna be leading the Shiites in the future. I mean, you tell me what is going on here, really. This is just next level of degeneracy, right? Next level of degeneracy. And I think Trump has to be impeached, by the way. I mean, something has to be done about it, right? Because he is in his second year, and I mean, he is about to, I mean, he and whatever forces are behind him are about to launch freaking Third World War on a global scale. Third World War is already happening, but it's fragmented, right? There is a chapter of this proxy war that West is waging against Russia through Ukraine. There is now chapter of Iran, and soon we might see another hotspots throughout the world if these psychopaths are not stopped. And I think for any US citizen that actually understands what the hell is going on, this kind of stuff should be embarrassing. I mean, what the hell, man? Who are you to tell Iranian people who's going to be their religious leader? I know Trump is so out of touch with reality that he was posting on his True Social when he is pretending to be Pope, right? And when he's pretending to be king and this and that. Now he wants to pretend that he is like respected leader of Shiites, that he has a say who should be leader of the Shiites, religious, spiritual leader of the Shiites or not. This is embarrassing, man. What the heck is happening in this freaking world that has been turned into a bloody circus? I don't know, man. And even though, yet again, U.S. leadership is denying that they are engaged in a war, well, they are publishing videos every single day about their strikes. on Iran, Iranian military assets. And for example, they published a video of a strike on Iranian drone carrier. Iran does not have an aircraft carrier in traditional sense, but Iran had developed a drone carrier that you see right now on your screen, and it was attacked and seriously damaged based on videos that I have seen. Might get sunk actually, but it's definitely no longer operational based on this video, by the way, that I'm going to show you right now. So this is the moment when this drone carrier was attacked. So of course, in a direct clash, Iranian Navy never really had much chances against U.S. Navy, against U.S. Israeli militaries. But they are trying to put up some fight, right? They are trying to put up some fight, and I mean they are risking their lives in this attempt, and yeah, even though they knew perfectly well, I mean, crew members of these drone carriers probably were just counting time until they will be struck, right? And they'd get struck. Maybe before that, they managed to launch some drones to strike on U.S. naval assets, maybe successfully, right? But well, time anyways was running out for this, and all the other maritime, assets of the Iran. And yes, I mean maybe they still have some assets, warships, but I have some doubts about it. Smaller fast boats, yes, I believe Iran still has quite a number of small fast boats equipped with anti-ship missiles, defense missiles, and so on. But when it comes to large warships, probably all of them being in either significantly damaged or completely destroyed and sunk, including this one, this drone carrier. And also, of course, U.S.-Israeli coalition continues. U.S.-Israeli coalition, and there are others that are supporting them, including UK, France, Germany. They continue to bomb Iran, and right now on your screen you can see aftermath of yet another attack on Tehran. And this screenshot is quite telling, isn't it? You can see how many explosions did happen in this part of the city alone, right? At once. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like nine strikes in a relatively small area. So that's what is happening. And if at some point US will actually manage to completely destroy air defenses of Iran, and they are trying to do so, but they are failing yet, because after all, Iran just yesterday managed to intercept their F-15, right? So they still have some operational air defense systems, but Iran will actually lose its air defense capabilities. Gonna become day when the US and Israel will launch their carpet bombings. They're using carpet bombing tactics now, but for the strikes, they are deploying precise weaponry, more or less precise weaponry, right? Cruise missiles, guided bombs, and so on. But Iran will lose completely air defenses. Well, U.S. and Israeli Air Force, British Air Force, when they will begin participating in these attacks, French Air Force, they're gonna just destroy everything, right? They will fly around Iran with impunity. And I think neither Neither Russia, neither China can allow this to happen. And soon I expect air defense systems deliveries to begin to Iran from Russia and China through different means, right? Russia can transfer anything really to Iran through Caspian Sea. I mean, let me show you. Iran might have some trouble with that. China might have some trouble to send weaponry to Iran without Russia's assistance, especially. But Russia can deliver anything through Caspian Sea, through this massive lake. It's not really a sea, by the way. You know that, isn't it? It's a lake actually, but it's so big. Now look at the Black Sea here, and also that's the Caspian Sea. How massive is it? And so yes, I mean, soon I expect deliveries to begin, massive deliveries of everything, humanitarian aid, weaponry, maybe some manpower assistance through private military companies and stuff. Because yet again, neither Moscow, neither Beijing can afford Western ruling class to succeed in their attempt to destroy Iran, erase Iran from their political map, descend it to chaos and the civil war, and then to do the same with the entire region in order to shut down navigation for the years in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait. We cannot afford this to happen. So therefore, we have to provide Iran with all the necessary assistance, and we do provide assistance, by the way, and I will get to this point in a minute, right? But I want to share with you this information also, that, even though Tucker Carlson was very diplomatic whenever he spoke about Trump, very diplomatic. I mean, Carlson is opposing this war on Iran, this war of choice. Carlson has become quite critical of Israel lately. I don't know what happened. He suddenly wake up and realized that, well, Israel is a freaking fascist entity and Israelis are freaking fascists. I mean, he just learned this in past like year or so or two. Really? Didn't you know what Israel was doing since its creation and how many innocent people they kill? But anyways, I mean, it's better late than never to wake up, right? And Tucker Carlson kind of did that. He wake up. Maybe because that's the part of some bigger game that he is involved in. For example, in a game of running for a presidency sometime in the future, right? And if you want to succeed and get some votes from Republican side, from traditionalists, and also from libertarians, of course, he had to act now in a very same way that Trump was acting, right? Before he get to office. And you remember the difference, Trump was saying every now and then, not always, Trump was more on since his creation, right? But every now and then, probably he had good speech writers or something, and he was saying some sensible stuff. Maybe Tucker Carlson was writing something for him, right? And I don't know. Maybe I am too skeptical of everything and everyone. Maybe I don't know. I'm just too freaking paranoid. But I don't exclude the possibility that Tucker Carlson is a part of some bigger game, right? But anyways, he's publicly critical of fascist Israel. He's not using this language. He didn't call Israel a fascist state. I do, right? Because I believe this is true. He didn't call Israeli majority of the Israelis a fascists. I do, because I believe this is true. But Tucker Carlson is critical of Israel. Tucker Carlson is critical of Zionists. He's not happy with the level of influence that Zionists have inside the US, right? He is not happy that entire freaking Congress is brought almost entirely, by the way, like 90-95% of it is brought by APAC and all sorts of special groups of interests. And reports were that some 2 weeks ago, approximately, I mean, before U.S.-Israel launched war on Iran, Carson allegedly had his last conversation with Trump. He went to White House, and reports are that he tried to influence Trump not to launch this war, and he failed. And of course, he would fail, by the way. Decision maker. Trump is not a decision maker. Trump does what he's ordered to do by forces that Tucker Carlson may not be that familiar yet. But he will get familiar with those forces, and he will realize that either you play by their rules or something gonna happen, as Trump does, right? Trump knows that either he obeys orders now or something gonna happen, and not necessarily just with him, but with some others too that he might cares about. Trump is a hostage now, right? He is a hostage. Anyways, Trump was briefed, I guess, about this public opinion statements of Tucker Carlson that are actually sensible, absolutely sensible and logical. I may disagree with all of it. In his last video, Tucker Carlson went all into on religious stuff, and he kind of tried to explain this war on Iran through religious prism, right? I disagree with that because I think this war on Iran was launched by Western ruling class as yet another chapter in a wider strategy against Russia and China, right? Wider strategy that is solely focused on the maintenance of the dominance by Western ruling elites. And those Western elites, by the way, they don't give a damn about any religion, really. Do you think they actually care about religion and stuff? No, man. They are using all sorts of religious extremists for their game, for their agenda, but they are not motivated by this. I'm 100% convinced on that. And so I think it is wrong to think that US launched this war on Iran because Israel wanted to do this. No, man, maybe Israel wanted this, or Zionists, but decision was made based on different strategy that Western ruling class is deploying. It happened that in this particular case, Zionists and globalists, Zionists and Western ruling class, they are one group, isn't it? Basically, in many ways, their interests coincide. Zionists are for destruction of the Middle East for their own interests. They want Israel to dominate, not just dominate the region, but also to expand. And the only way Israel can expand and reach this greater Israel scale, as they dream about, is to obliterate these countries, right? To make all the countries in the region irrelevant. And that's exactly their direction that region is moving. And globalists had a different agenda. Globalists want destruction of the region, destruction of the navigation in the Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait, so that China will be cut off, right? And that will be first big strike on Chinese economy, and then they will force China ultimately to increase its dependence on Russian energy deliveries towards the critical level. And when this will happen, when some 70-80% of Chinese energy will come from Russia or Central Asia, at that point, I think Western ruling class will activate their fifth columns in Russia, in China, and they will put fear in Beijing that Moscow gonna turn its back on China now. And if Western elites are successful in this strategy, then they will force China to come up with some, to try at least, and secure closest energy fields, oil and gas fields, through military means. And well, not surprisingly, it happened that this closest oil and gas fields to China on the land is in Russia and Central Asia, Kazakhstan, namely. And basically, what Western elites want is to create a situation when they be able to provoke a confrontation between Russia and China, and this way they will try to get rid of two major competitors on a geopolitical scale. And if they succeed, I mean, I hope they're not going to be successful, but if they will succeed, then never ever they're going to allow any one country to even get closer to a position when they will even dare to challenge dominance of the Western elites. That's what is happening, man. That's what is happening. So these Western elites, they don't care who will they use in the process. They will use everybody. Christian Zionists, Christian fundamentalists, or fanatics that call themselves this Christian Zionist, which is freaking nonsensical stuff, right? They will use indoctrinated in all sorts of psychopathic ideas, radical Israelis, right? I don't want to use Jews, right? Because I want to believe that majority of Jews that are living outside of Israel, by the way, are not indoctrinated in this psychopathic idea that, well, only they are humans and all the other people are what they call Amalek or something, right? Animals, basically. But Israelis, majority Israelis are indoctrinated in that idea that only they are humans, and the rest of the humanity, that includes you, that includes me, that includes everyone else, are this Amalek stuff. And that means they're inhuman, right? So Western ruling class will use everybody to achieve their goal. But to say that US is engaged in this war because Israel wanted it, it's a mistake, man. If you say that, that means you don't really understand what the hell is going on. You are just scratching the surface, right? Just dig deeper, man, and then you will see bigger picture. But nevertheless, this criticism of Israel from Tucker Carlson was enough for Trump to go after him. And according to ABC, Trump said that Tucker has lost his way. He is not MAGA. MAGA is America first, and Tucker is none of those things. And Tucker is really not smart enough to understand that. Well, that's quite funny, man, when Donald Trump says about anybody that someone is smart or not. I mean, that's quite something, man. Who gonna tell Trump that he's a freaking moron with IQ of, I don't know, man, 0.1 or something like that? Who gonna tell Trump that he is a total freaking moron, man? And end up being a president of US exactly because of that he is a freaking animal that operates based on instincts, right? And so he is easily manipulated. He can be easily manipulated, and he was chosen, right? He was chosen by all sorts of groups of special interests, and they put him here, and you see what he's doing. You know, he during his first term, he operated as a Israeli governor in the US because he was financed by Israeli lobby big time. And in the second term, he also does whatever he can to assist Israel, and also, by the way, globalists, right? Also globalists, because this war is a globalist war. Globalists are in charge, not the freaking Zionists, man. Anyways, yes, Trump. I'm interested. It's interesting what Trump will say about this attack from. What Tucker Carlson gonna say about this assault from Trump? Maybe he will respond, maybe not. But yes, if Tucker Carlson wants to if he's a part of a game, and sometime in the future, I mean, he will run for the presidency. I mean, I would give him advice never ever to talk about Trump with any respecter, right? Because that puts him in a strange position, right? Because I mean, are you that bad in understanding the people, or who you support? Trump is Epstein class, right? Do you support Epstein class, Tucker Carlson? And he was always polite towards Trump, and that's an issue, man. His PR team have to work on the matter, right? You cannot be nice to Trump, because that means you are degenerate too. Because if you have any morality, and if you pretend, or if you declare yourself to be Christian, and if you claim to be good Christian, or at least trying to be good Christian, then for God's sake, how you can say anything good about Trump, this mass freaking murderer and the Epstein client? So, yeah, Tucker has to work on his PR stuff quite a lot, right? Yet again, if he is a part of some bigger game, in which at some point he's running for office or something. Anyways, let's continue with some other news. It's some other news difference, and periodically I will check, of course. I'm monitoring the live stream right there on the notebook. Seems like everything is working, at least for now. And also I will check every now and then Rumble on a. Oh, thanks God I checked it, man. And I see super chat from Scooby. And if I may, dear friends, I will react on Scooby's super chat right now. And then we will continue. This way, this program will be more interactive, I think. So I'm gonna react on this super chat now. And then we will continue. So, Scooby, thank you very much for your super chat on Rumble and the $2 donation. And a comment from Scooby is Gilbert Doctorow on Glenn Deason's channel today, talking about the Putin disaster. Good stuff. Well, I will check the video, by the way. I have not seen it. I mean, I will check that video. I have not seen it. But yes, I will check it out. Thank you for letting us know that there was an interesting show on Glenn Deason's channel. Okay, and let's continue now with. And by the way, probably you notice it, isn't it? Doctor is quite critical of Putin, right? Every now and then, by the way, about some policies of his, and well, he's still very well welcomed here in Russia. He's every now and then he's coming in Russia and moving around uh, and stuff like that. Maybe he is too fixated on Putin. That well might be the case, because I don't know, man. I disagree with certain policies of Russian president, but I'm not talking about Putin every day, man, in every my update, because I mean, why should I? If something is happening that I can comment, I will, but I cannot repeat my criticism of certain policies like day in, day out, right? It makes no sense. I've said some stuff once, twice, okay, that's enough, I guess, right? If there is something else, I will comment. So I think he has a little bit of a fixation on Putin, extra fixation, but nevertheless, you know, he's intellectual. I believe he's intellectual, and his opinions also matters. So thank you very much, Scooby. Even sometimes when we disagree with the people, we can acknowledge that they are carrying level of intellect that we have respect to, right? And we all do respect intellectuals, right? No matter we agree or not, but we respect intellectuals, and the doctor is an intellectual. If anyone says otherwise, that someone is not objective, I think. Anyways, by the way, let's continue with some other news. And goodness me, man, 1 hour and 10 minutes already. Time is flying, isn't it? And next news is about statements of Abbas Araghchi that I want to share with you, dear friends. Abbas Araghchi was did give an interview to NBC News and made quite a few interesting statements. And for example, he spoke about Hormuz Strait. I said before, dear friends, in my previous updates, that it looks like this military campaign of Western ruling class and Zionists, US and Israel, is not really going in a way that they were hoping for, and that they are kind of desperate now to accelerate the processes, right, and launch ground segment of this assault on Iran as soon as possible. And one way how they can do this is to work with all sorts of different ethnic groups inside Iran and outside of Iran, and also to push Gulf monarchies to enter the war against Iran, right? And so, to achieve this, all sorts of false flag operations being conducted by Israeli and US Secret Services, including spreading this rumor throughout the world for many days now that Iran shut down Persian Gulf, which is not true. Which is not true, by the way, right? When initially these reports came in that, well, Tehran officially shut down the Persian Gulf, I was really puzzled by this report, because it was senseless. I mean, I was thinking, why would Iran do this, right? Why would Iran give better chances to its enemies to actually more easily push these Gulf monarchies towards the war against Iran, right? And also, why would Iran harm interests of its strategical partner, China, for example? Because China is the biggest buyer of energy from the Persian Gulf. So to me, it was like strange reports, right? But then, as time goes by, we had more and more indicators that Iran actually did not shut down nothing. All they do is creating some issues for the vessels that are linked to hostile side, but all the others just can go in and out through Hormuz Strait whenever they want. And there is a movement, by the way, of the vessels through Hormuz Strait. There is a movement. And so Abbas Araghchi was asked about it, and it is good that he said it directly, that they have no intent, as of now at least, to shut down navigation in the Persian Gulf. But if things change in the future, I mean, let's say if Gulf monarchies will attack Iran, in that case, of course, Iranian militaries might actually use whatever means they have in their disposal to make navigation through Hormuz Strait impossible. But as of now, they don't do this. And that's the statements of Abbas Araghchi on the matter.
Strait of Hormuz hasn't been closed, but the threat of its closure has disrupted the international economy. If this war continues, will Iran try to close the Strait of Hormuz?
But they have not closed it. It is the ships and tankers who don't try to pass through to cross the strait because they are, concerned about being hit by either side. So we have no intention to close it right now. But as the war continues, we will consider every scenario. For the time being, we have not done yet. and but the strait is almost empty of ships and tankers because of their concern.
So that's the official position of Tehran, by the way, right? They didn't shut down no navigation, and if there is a distraction, it's because of the Western ruling class, right? We already have first direct indicators that my reading of the big picture about Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf and all these developments in the region are correct, because it's a Western ruling class that is distracting the navigation, because London's Lloyd's is refusing to, according to reports, by the way, refusing to insure the vessels, right? It's insurance business, by the way, totally controlled by London, by Western elites, by globalists, right? And well, they are using tools they have to distract navigation already now, even before they manage to succeed with this assault on the Iran, assault on the Middle East, right? So we already have good indicators what is actual intent of the Western ruling class is in regards to all this Middle Eastern story. And also, dear friends, as I said, it's not just some financial instruments that West is using to influence the Persian Gulf and distract the navigation. Of course, they will try to lure in more countries into this world, especially Gulf nations, and I think if US will fail, if Western ruling class will fail to trigger Kurdish forces, for example, to launch a ground offensive in Western Iran, if globalists and their allies will fail to trigger Gulf monarchies to launch the military, to get engaged militarily in this war, I think in that case, they will not really have much options but to begin deploying their own troops. And as of now, they are failing, isn't it? Despite all the attempts, neither Kurdish forces from Iraq, for example, neither Gulf monarchies are launching the war on Iran. And also Belugis, by the way, on the southern side of Iran, in regions that are bordering Pakistan and Afghanistan, Belugis also are not in a hurry to launch a war against Iran. And I think when it comes to Belugis, by the way, I spoke about it yesterday in my second update. I think Belugis are passive for now, at least, because India wants them to be passive. I think Indian secret services have a great deal of influence on the Belugis, right? And of course, India is not happy with their current developments. It's not in India's interests, 100%, right? And maybe New Delhi is unable openly to confront Washington for numerous reasons, but behind the scenes, of course, India will assist. We will do whatever it can to assist strategical stability in the Middle East to be saved. And one of the ways India can assist is to use its leverage or contacts among Belugis, right, to stay out of this war. And yet again, by the way, if Western ruling class fails to bring in some more countries, more ethnic groups, to use them as a ground force, then what choice do they have but to deploy troops from NATO member states? You know, theoretically speaking, yes, Israel can also send some troops, but I don't know about that. But US will, if things continue to develop in a way that we are observing now, US will have to send their tens of thousands of its troops. It will take time, but eventually, I mean, they will have no option, right? And American citizens, US citizens should, I mean, already analyze the situation. I mean, already do something about it. If they don't want their tens of thousands of their fellow citizens to be sent in Iran to fight on behalf of globalists, on behalf of Zionists, right? And die there. And they will. They will. And this NBC journalist yesterday, I don't know, he was trying to threaten Abbas Araghchi or what, but he spoke about probability of deployment or ground operation, deployment of ground assault troops. And I'm going to give you reaction, statement of Abbas Araghchi. It's quite something. It's quite something. Just listen to this.
Not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
And Abbas Araghchi is on point there, isn't it? I personally don't think U.S. militaries are capable of defeating Iran with the conventional means. I don't think U.S. ground forces are that impressive or capable, really. Even if they will send there like 200,000-300,000 troops, they're going to be obliterated, man. They're going to be obliterated. After all, U.S. lost the war with Taliban in Afghanistan, and Iranian forces are much more capable than Taliban ever was, right? But yet again, if Kurds refuse to fight and sacrifice themselves on behalf of globalists and Zionists, if Belugas refuse to sacrifice themselves on behalf of globalists and Zionists, if Gulf monarchies will refuse to fight and sacrifice themselves for globalists and Zionists, then what those globalists and Zionists gonna do? They're gonna send troops from countries from which they actually can send the troops, right? And those countries are US, UK, France, Germany. Yet again, theoretically speaking, Israel too, but presence of Israeli forces not gonna go down well. So probably they will keep their forces in Israel to try and occupy territories in Lebanon and maybe some more territories in Syria. Then they will go after Jordan. They might try again to occupy, I don't know, man, Sinai Peninsula and then take it from Egypt. They have massive plans, right? So I don't think Israel will send large number of troops, special forces maybe, but not large number of troops to fight in Iran. And so, yes, US will, by the way, and we should expect that first couple of thousand American troops to end up in Western Iran, in next week, potentially. Right next week, by the way. None of us should be surprised. I can show you, in my understanding, there is a probability now, or improbability, that US already next week will deploy its troops in Western Iran, in this area, by the way, where predominantly Kurdish people are living. Also, US might try to conduct a land operation in Hormuz Strait, right, to take control over these coastal line areas, right? It's going to be extremely risky, man. It's going to be extremely risky. But if Gulf monarchies will refuse to join, then what they going to do? What else they going to do? They need bridgehead, right? So this is approximately areas, I think, where we might see U.S. troops being deployed. Western Iran and this Gulf coastal line, right? We will see. On initial stages, due to this air supremacy, on initial stages, Pentagon might think that they can actually establish a bridgehead, right, and keep Iranian forces on a distance. But but they might make a fatal mistake in their calculus, because Iran has not just ballistic missiles that can reach any point in the Middle East. They also have short-range tactical missiles, thousands of them. They have artillery, a lot of it. Multi-launch rocket systems, a lot of it, right? And if Pentagon miscalculates and sends its troops on the ground, large numbers of their troops, thousands, oh, they're gonna start taking casualties straight away, by the way, big casualties. But yeah, they are desperate, so they're gonna do something about it, isn't it? Probably they will continue to push Kurds. They're not gonna stop doing this. They're gonna push Kurds, and there is a probability that they will succeed in that, right? And next week, I think Kurds will launch their military operation against Iran. Will be massive mistake on their behalf, but they will. And of courst, Western ruling class is going to continue to use their pressure, their leverage to pressure Gulf monarchies to launch the military operation against Iran. And well, they might succeed, man. They might succeed with Saudi Arabia. And if they succeed with Saudi Arabia, then others might follow. And that also will be disaster for a region, right? That would be suicide for these Gulf monarchies, but there is a probability of that happening already next week. Maybe even this weekend. Maybe, but Western ruling class not gonna stop. They need to descend Iran into chaos, right? They want to provoke civil war there, and they also want to provoke war on ethnic and sectarian lines, not just in Iran, but also throughout the region. And best way to do this is to force Gulf monarchies to enter the war, because that would be straight up a religious war between Sunnis and Shias, right? And then everybody can say goodbye to navigation in the Persian Gulf and Hormuz Strait for years, by the way, right? Maybe for decades also, because that if West succeeds in provoking this war in the region, then of course not just their navigation going to be shut down, but energy infrastructure going to get obliterated. So even if there is no one there to shut down Hormuz Strait, well, if you have no oil production, if you have no LNG production, how are you going to send your energy out of the region, right? No matter is Hormuz Strait open or not. So yes, that's. But what about Abbas Araghchi's reaction there when he said, "Oh, we are waiting for them"? They do, man. I'm quite sure they actually do, because they must be very much confident that they can deal with the U.S. militaries. They can defeat U.S. militaries. I mean, Taliban just demonstrated that it's not that difficult, really, to keep in check these highly advertised U.S. armed forces. And if Taliban can do it, then Iran definitely can do it. Trump, meanwhile, as I said, man, according to Reuters, said that Kurds, when he was told that Kurds allegedly are launching offensive into Iran, he said that I think it's wonderful if they want to do that. I mean, they are actively engaged. Washington is actively engaged with the Kurds, by the way, right? They are using whatever leverage they have to push Kurds into this suicide. And as of now, they failed. But yet again, man, you never know. With the Middle East, you never know, man. The leadership of Kurdish people in around Erbil in Iraqi Kurdistan may actually sacrifice their fellow countrymen and send them to fight on behalf of globalists, right? Western ruling class, and die. Trump also allegedly Trump also create this choice, told the Kurdish leaders that they have to make choice on which side they are, on the side of US and Israel or with Iran. And the Kurds actually have to make a choice, by the way, and they have to choose to be on their own side. And that will mean to stay out of this war, right? If the Kurds have wise enough leadership, that's exactly what they're gonna do: stay out of this war. That would not stop US or the Western ruling class to continue force them to get sacrificed, but they should know which direction is the correct direction, right? And as I said, it's not just Kurds, by the way. Another way of pressure is another direction of the pressure is, of course, Gulf monarchies. And it's not just these false flag operations with the strikes on energy infrastructure throughout the region that US and Israel and their allies are coming up with nowadays. And Iran already said many times that they are not targeting energy infrastructure, so it's a false flag operations, right? But what happened is that because globalists, London is no longer insuring vessels to pass through Hormuz Strait. Saudi Arabia, for example, is facing another challenge, which is that their tanks are filling up. They cannot export the oil, but they are still pumping up oil from the ground, right? And all the reservoirs that they have, all the tanks, gonna get full in a 2 weeks time. And at that point, well, either they have to send the vessels with the oil, right? Send the tankers with the oil and resume exports, or they have to begin cutting down on oil production drastically. So this is serious stuff, because once you shut down these oil pumping stations or whatever they are, in many cases you're not going to be able to reuse very same station. You have to build a new one. It's expensive to shut it down, to preserve it. Conservation is a quite expensive stuff, and then to resume, in many cases you cannot use the same infrastructure. You have to build a new one on a different place. So it's going to be very costly stuff for Saudi Arabia. And if Saudi Arabia has approximately 2 weeks, according to Financial Times, other Gulf monarchies have even less time, because they have even less storage capabilities for the oil. So this is another pressure point that Western ruling class is using. And I can imagine Western elites or Americans, let's say representatives of Trump's administration, telling to officials in Riyadh, Doha, and elsewhere there, that they have to launch military operation. They have to send their troops on other side of the Persian Gulf to secure coastal line. And so they will have opportunity to send their vessels, right? Begun exporting the oil again. Otherwise, no one gonna insure their tankers, because it's just dangerous. And maybe on top of other pressure points that West is using, maybe this will work, and already this weekend or next week, one or several Gulf monarchies or all of them will come up with their joint invasion of the Iran, which was going to be definitely suicide on their part. But yeah, dear friends, it's already, goodness me, man, time is flying, isn't it? It's already 1.5 hours. Let me check. And so, by the way, let's continue with some other news. And well, dear friends, I said I shared my take. I shared my take about these Middle Eastern developments, right? Before this war was launched on Iran, I was saying that Western ruling class will launch a war in the Middle East to destabilize the region, shut down navigation through Persian Gulf and through Hormuz Strait, and then to cut off China from Middle Eastern energy fields, increase Chinese dependence on Russia big time, like towards the critical level, and at some point when that will happen, provoke confrontation between China and Russia. And I think this is important stuff, isn't it? Because every day to this moment, in the Western, not just media field, but even in alternative media, there is discussion. What is the task? Why this war being launched? What is the actual purpose? It's just for Israel, or there is something else? Seems like, with exception of myself, no one is giving the answer. No one is explaining what is actually going on, right? Maybe my reading of the big picture is incorrect, but as of now, and I'm monitoring a lot of channels, by the way. I'm subscribed on a lot of channels, right? As of now, I did not see any explanation, right? Not just simple, like surface scale explanation, but any like serious explanation of these developments. All this crap that US launched war because Israel wanted it and that kind of stuff. No, this is for this is just surface, man. This is just for blah 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 stuff, right? In reality, different things are happening, right? Different things, and I explain my take. Iran chapter is just a chapter. Iran and Middle Eastern chapter is just one element of this decades-old large-scale strategy of Western ruling class directed on a global domination, to preserve global domination, and that means directed against China and Russia, and eventually to provoke confrontation between China and Russia, and so on, right? And I don't know, maybe you don't see big picture in the way I do, right? Some might ask a question, yes, but how they gonna, even if China is like fully dependent on Russia, how West gonna provoke confrontation between the two, right? Well, you know how? With the fifth columns. And unfortunately, I have to say, I'm quite sure that there is a lot of assets, both in Russia and China, that are working for the Western ruling class, secret services of their countries in the West that this Western ruling class is controlling. And I'm confident that my understanding of the situation is correct, because if Western elites, if Western secret services demonstrated anything, by the way, in past many years, is that they are quite good at infiltrating the countries worldwide, right? They are quite good at it. US secret services, British secret services, Israeli secret services, some others. They're quite good at infiltrating the countries, right? And this is not something that is up for discussion. They already demonstrated that on numerous occasions, that they are good at it. And what mechanisms usually they do for infiltration? Answer, isn't it, dear friends? Corruption. They corrupt. If they enter their country and they did not see high level of corruption there, they will do whatever they can to stimulate the corruption. Because main way how Western secret services, Israeli secret services, are infiltrating countries, infiltrating governments, infiltrating societies is corruption, right? And do you think Russia and China are dealing with their serious issues when it comes to corruption? I think yes. Corruption is a biggest threat that Russia is facing. Corruption and the corrupt officials, in my personal opinion, is much more dangerous threat for a country and society than entire NATO combined. And on the matter of corruption, I want to give you this news. By the way, here, which is that another former deputy of Ministry of Defense has been detained by security services. At this point, by the way, I mean, I don't know, this one is a third or fourth deputy of Shoigu, former defense minister, that was detained on a wrongdoing, corruption. Usually it's a corruption. And this is defense ministry we are talking about. Defense ministry. Can you imagine what is going on in other ministries? And this is a federal level. This is federal level, by the way, right? Deputy of the defense minister is a federal level. Can you imagine what is going on regional levels when it comes to corruption? And now you tell me how good the ground is for the Western secret services, Israeli secret services, to not just infiltrate Russia, but to create tremendous fifth column through these corrupt elements, right, that they can use through blackmail, through other means, right? So you see how dangerous it is. And when someone will ask, yeah, but Levan, how West gonna manage to provoke a confrontation between Russia and China? You know, you are saying that West will try to put fear in Chinese leadership, that Moscow is gonna turn its back. For God's sake, man, you think this is happening just in Russia? China is even more corrupt. By all accounts, China is even more corrupt. Chinese officials, man. And you think Western ruling class would not be able, if nothing is changed, right, fundamentally, you think Western ruling class would not be able to use these assets that they most likely have due to this high level of corruption? Well, they will have much issue to direct Beijing in direction that they would want. No, man, right? And yet again, I'm only one, as of now, who is explaining what the hell is going on. I'm not just telling you news, but I'm telling you why this war was launched. What is the next step? What is the second, third step? And what is the end game, right? Who is behind it? And all that stuff. Which is strange, man. I mean, I'm a small channel, tiny compared to big ones, right? And I don't know how come that only I am going as far as to actually explain to share with the public my reading of the big picture, which quite well explains everything that is happening, practically everything, man. That's how my predictions are correct every now and then, because my reading of the big picture is correct. And well, let me give you this particular report now, that the former first deputy minister at the Russian Defense Ministry, Ruslan Tsalikov, has been detained in a major graft case. The Russian Investigative Committee has announced Tsalikov is suspected of creating a criminal organization whose members embezzled budget funds between 2017 and 2024, as well as of many money laundering and bribery. Investigative Committee spokeswoman Svetlana Petrenko said in a statement. And this is a defense ministry. This particular individual was our first deputy of the minister. And in past several years, by the way, I don't know, man, like 3, 4 deputies of defense minister were arrested on somewhat similar charges linked to corruption. It's crazy. It's insane, isn't it? It's insane, man. And when I say corruption is a bigger threat and corrupt officials, current or former, that may be already being recruited by Western secret services and through blackmail, through other means. I'm telling you, corruption and the corrupter, current or former officials, are most dangerous challenge for Russian Federation and the Russian people than anything else, right? More dangerous than all freaking NATO member states combined. And if this is happening in Moscow, in the defense ministry, I don't even want to imagine what is going on in other freaking ministries, either on a federal level or on a local level, on regional level, man. And yes, there is, I mean, security services, law enforcement agencies, they are trying to do something about it, right? But, well, man, I think if we are not implementing again as a measures of fighting corruption, death penalty for corrupt elements and the full confiscation of everything that is on their name, on name of their kids, their wives, their relatives, right? Until we will go to do that stuff, we're not going to be able to defeat the corruption, man. Because, I mean, can you imagine? They might steal, like, I don't know, man, billion rubles. And if they caught, they might go in jail for, I don't know. Under the current law, corruption is like a financial crime, right? It's not even designated as a heavy crime or something. So after like 5-7 years, they might be free. And can you imagine, man? If anybody would tell me, you know, if I go to jail right now today for 5 years, once I come out of jail, I will get freaking, I don't know, man, 100 million rubles. I will say, okay, man, let's go right now. And these guys are stealing no 100 million rubles, brother. They are stealing billions. They are stealing billions, man. And it's not just the stealing of the money, by the way. It's from whom they are stealing. From their own people, from their own country. And also consequences due to these corrupt elements. Can you imagine the level of damage that is done to Russia? How many people die? How many people are suffering due to these consequences of these actions of these corrupt elements, man? Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. But yeah, I'm telling you, if during the next presidential elections, if any candidate will say that you know, if in case of victory, they will push for death penalty for corrupt officials and their confiscation of everything that is on name of a corrupt individual and his family and the relatives and the friends, I will support that candidate. I don't give a damn from which party that candidate gonna be, because corruptionism and corrupt officials, current and former, are existential threat for Russian society and the Russian Federation. So you see, by the way, I'm sharing with you this information to explain that unfortunately there is a tremendous ground that most likely are used by Western secret services to infiltrate not just Russia, but also China and all the other countries. Mostly they use corruption, man, right? They're using corruption. They are using their corrupt officials through blackmail, through other means, right? That's what is happening. And Trump, meanwhile, is threatening Cuba. Trump, meanwhile, is threatening Cuba, by the way, which is also something quite extraordinary, isn't it? Trump is threatening Cuba. After Iran, Cuba is next, he said. Although, according to him, Marco Rubio wants Iran story to be finalized first and then Cuba or something like that. Freaking psychos, man. Freaking psychos. What can I say about it? Freaking psychos. And dear friends, it's almost 2 hours. It's almost 2 hours. So probably I will end a live stream on that. I still have quite a number of news, and I will share those news either in a walk and talk video, if I will make one, or tomorrow. This evening I'm not gonna have a late evening live stream, dear friends. It's a Friday, isn't it? So I want to have a little rest. Tomorrow probably I will have a live stream. I'm not sure about it, but I will definitely have a live stream on Sunday. Big community chat, right? Once again, let me remind you that from Monday, I'm no longer gonna have a full shows on YouTube and Rumble. And if you like these programs of mine, no matter how long they are, I mean, after all, you can pause and then watch like whenever you have a time, isn't it? So if you want to follow my work and have access to full videos, please consider to join our community on Patreon or Boosty. Links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And to make sure that access to my updates are comfortable, what I'm gonna do from Monday is, dear friends, that I will upload videos of my programs, not just on the platforms themselves, but I will also upload on YouTube in a way that you can have access to video only through link, only if you have a special link, right? And this special link, otherwise on my YouTube and Rumble channels, these videos would not be visible, these updates. Only if you have a link, you click that link and well, in that case, you see video, right? That's the only way. And so, yes, I will upload on YouTube also, maybe on Rumble also, and I will drop under every my update on platforms, on Patreon and Boosty, links to very same video on YouTube or on Rumble, in case you prefer to watch my updates there on these platforms, right? Because yes, some members like the Patreon platform, and some members prefer to watch videos on YouTube or Rumble because they used to, right? So to make it comfortable, I can do this, dear friends. Whenever I record their update, it's not gonna be a live stream, though. It's gonna be pre-recorded updates. Because I mean, I can do live stream, technically speaking, on a Patreon, but because our community is very small, I'm not sure that there will be even, I mean, anybody on live stream, right? But I can try, actually, I can try. So we will work it out, man. We will work it out. So if you want to stay in touch, follow me on Patreon and Boosty. If you want to support, you can do it also through PayPal, with donation. And when it comes to YouTube and Rumble channels, as I said, I will probably drop on both my channels some snippets, or how should I say, some shortcuts from the main updates, and yes, I will add some information to it that if viewers want to see full show, they should follow me on Patreon and Boosty, something like that. Yes, it is unfortunate, man. It is unfortunate that I have to do this, but I don't really have a choice. I don't really have a choice, so it is what it is. Okay, thank you very much, dear friends. Let me once again check Rumble to make sure I'm not missing nothing. So I checked there. Let me check Boosty. Okay, nothing on Boosty, and Anna did not send me a message, a screenshot from. So therefore, probably there was also nothing through PayPal. So this is it for now, dear friends. Have a wonderful day, great upcoming weekend, and take care. Thank you for your attention.